Hi and welcome to day 1 of week 4 of training cycle 2 of 2021. Finally a good day. I've spent the weekend thinking, plotting, wondering which muscles are my weaknesses in the deadlift. How will I develop them and how will I work these new exercises around my recovery? Which exercises should I change and swap out, and which things do I add without killing myself when it comes to the volume? Now, as you guys saw, I had probably the worst run I've had this whole year. I had the worst run for the whole year yesterday. Everything was terrible, and today I was really light this morning, 76.1. So I should have been weaker, but for some reason, I felt really good today. Everything was fantastic, except for the lower back strength, which I'm going to work on. More on that later in this video. Overall, it was probably the best workout in ages. Like, everything felt good, felt smooth, I felt happy. I hit a lifetime personal best today. I was in my zone, man. I was happy. Really, it wasn't like a mental thing where I went into the workout with, a big smile ear to ear. But it was just, everything felt good. Physically, I was in great shape today. And I just felt like, I felt great. This back off set did not feel perfect though, especially that second rep, but whatever. 3 reps with 100 kilos for back off work. It feels good to be at 100 kilos, and it will feel good to go beyond this weight on the back off work. At this point, it's pretty clear that my quads, my glutes have most likely made somewhat significant progress, because I started the first training cycle of the year with 92.5 kilos for 1 rep. That was my daily training max, right? And you guys, I think I started filming at 95, so now I'm doing above what I was doing for a training max for 3 reps. Now, granted, it wasn't an absolute max, but it was still, this is still progress. Okay, look at this, guys. Talking about progress. Boom! 65 kilogram seated overhead press. This is big. This is huge. Alright, guys. Shoulders, triceps, traps. Finally making progress. It's confirmed now. Alright? This bulk has been helping my pressing strength 1000%. It's impossible to debate. Even though I did a new technique with the way I placed my legs today, that may have added a kilo, 1.5 kilos, whatever. It's an absolute fact at this point that my delts, my traps, and my triceps have made progress, strength and size progress on this program so far this year. In the beginning of the year, I don't know where my overhead press was at, but I do know that there was no way I was hitting 60 kilos. I believe I was at 55 or lower, probably 55-ish range. I do know and I do remember that I could absolutely not do 60 kilos even on a good day. And trust me, guys, 5 kilos on a lift like the overhead press is massive. All right, this isn't the squat, this isn't the bench press. 5 kilos on your overhead press, that's a big improvement. And at the end of this training cycle, I'm going to go for either 70 or 72.5. I believe 70 is the choice. So I'm pretty much halfway to my goal for the overhead press just 4 weeks in, which I'm following the program, yes, but I'm very happy with that. Deadlift. I failed this first rep, didn't put enough effort in. But anyways, guys, as you guys have seen, 2 days ago, I posted a deadlift video, or a full workout, but in the workout, I deadlifted 147.5 kilos, with completely trash form. And one thing I have done now is I've taken out the power clean and I've added in deadlifts the other 6 days a week, or the other 5 days a week that I don't do the super heavy deadlift, right? 135, I believe I did today. And that 135 is significant because it has a lot better form than my 147.5. Now, the plan for these deadlifts is just to do 1 rep before my rows, and I'm going to go with 90% of whatever I'm going to do that week. So 90% of 150 is 135. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the deadlift, and I'm going to be alternating the grip every day, so I'm not going to get imbalances. So, yeah, I've got it covered. Everything's great. Everything's doing well. Excuse me. Okay, these rows, fantastic. As you guys have seen during the last several weeks, I used the other 20 kilo plates for these rows, and they like the hole in the plate is slightly larger in diameter. So those plates, like, they kind of slide around a bit, flip-flop around, and I'll get one end that it's kind of tipping over and sliding out, so I have to readjust the plates during the set. Everything's terrible. Today, I went with 70 kilos again, but I used different 20 kilo plates. I used my rubber plates, and I don't like these as much in general. I like iron more, and these are a bit fucked up. I'll talk about this specific product in the future, why, because there's a ring in the middle of that's broken. Anyway, these plates don't flip around and slide around, and they aren't annoying. These are just on the bar, and I don't have these little clamp things. I don't have like these clamps that you put on the end of the weight, on the end of the bar to hold everything together. I do have a pair, but they're in iron, and you have to like screw a thing, and it's like, I can't explain it. It's not practical. It doesn't work. I don't know if they're in the background because I can't see it through this voiceover thing on the iMovie. But at any rate, these rows today were perfect. I felt my spinal erectors, I felt my hamstrings, I felt my quads actually, and I felt my biceps and my lats. And guess what? Form was a lot better with these plates than with the other plates, because I can stay tight and I don't have to readjust the weights every single time. And guess what? My shoulders felt phenomenal today. Even before working out, I felt like I didn't have any shoulder pain. But one thing I've overlooked, guys, is that the other contraption of weights that slide off the end, what happens is you get heavier on one side. So you get misloading, uneven loading, whatever. And what happens then is you're getting more pressure on one shoulder. So what I'm doing here is I have exactly equal pressure on both shoulders. Both shoulders felt phenomenal. And leading into these chin-ups, I had more of a bicep pump and more of a lat pump, which pump, obviously, the pump doesn't build muscle by itself, but it's an indicator of fatigue in the muscle. The fact that you have a very high blood flow to a specific muscle shows that you have fatigue there. So my biceps in particular, as well as my lats, felt not crushed in any way, but I felt like I worked them properly with some solid weights and some solid reps. Once again, I'm really sorry. I'm allergic to pollen, and I don't want to cut this up. So anyway, 12 chin-ups with good form. Very, not very happy. Like, this is pretty regular for me, and I could probably tighten up the form a little bit. But still, 12 chin-ups. Starting to get there. The best I was doing the last training cycle was 18 chin-ups after 3 sets of 18 rows, but that was with 60 kilos. So we're figuring it out. I'm also heavier now than I was the last training cycle. So we will figure these things out over time. And over time, I'm probably going to get to anywhere between 18 to 20 chin-ups. If I fail, I'm probably going to get to, oh, by the way, double overhand holds. I'm probably going to get to 18 chin-ups at least. The goal for this training cycle is 20, but there is a chance that I only get to 18 if I get shoulder problems or anything like that. But I do believe that this training cycle, I'm in a better position to get to 20 chin-ups. So that's the plan. Now, these double overhand holds didn't go perfectly, or the 120 didn't, but the 100 did. Now, there's a very large weight component to that. Although I did get in a better position for the 100, the fact is that I couldn't lock out the 120 all the way. I was kind of leaning over and letting it rest on my quads a bit, instead of using my glutes and powering through and lifting it all the way up. Because the fact is, at the lockout, the bar kind of drags against your quads, and the reason I can't lock out a very heavy double overhand weight is because my grip's going to slide out. And the reason that my grip isn't as strong at the very top is because I'm actually getting more tension by dragging the bar against my quads. So that's one thing. I'm actually really happy because I have a lot of things to talk about today. It's a very long video already, and I'm doing a lot of exercises today, but there's so much new stuff, there's so much stuff to talk about, and it doesn't feel repetitive, so I'm happy about this. And guys, today I did something. One of the exercises that I needed to add in, that I was talking to myself about yesterday and on Saturday as well, was how do I develop my glutes more? Because I need more glutes for my squat and for my deadlift. And then I'm like, hip thrusts. No, not hip thrusts. This is actually the glute bridge. There's a difference. Hip thrust is like when you have your shoulders up on a bench. 100 kilos was about right mathematically for my strength level, and actually I'm surprised that I could do this for 10 solid reps. This is an exercise that many people think is weird. I really don't think so, because the fact is that we have to develop our glutes, and if we have imbalances, we need to work on them. So I'm not worried about posting this on YouTube and looking silly, because I do believe that I have a pretty mature audience, and you guys know that glutes helps. So, we have to develop not only the glutes for the sloots, but we also have to develop the glutes so that we can get a stronger squat and a stronger deadlift. Now, I only did one set of these today because I don't want to be crazy sore. I still haven't figured it out yet as to what I'm going to do, if I'm going to do more sets with these glute bridges, or if I'm just going to add a couple reps. At least I'm going to add weight though. The plan is to get to 120 kilos for at least one set of 10 by the end of the training cycle, which would be pretty proportionate to my squat, slightly favoring the hip thrust in proportionately, so that way I'm going to get strong glutes. I also took away one shin guard from my shin guards here, and I did one rep on the progressive range of motion, on the dead stop progressive range of motion Nordic hamstring curl. Once again, excuse me. As you guys have heard last couple of days, I decided to do progressive range of motion in a way that I build up to 3 reps with one height, then I decrease the height by a very small margin, then build up to 3 reps, and that's the way I'm going to go about it. That way I get pretty small jumps in progress each time. It's also undulating a bit because it's harder to do 3 reps with a slightly higher one than to do 1 rep with a slightly lower one. But overall, over the weeks and the months, it's going to be fantastic progress. Another thing that I have to talk about today, good mornings. This is the most vital exercise and the most important exercise. Well, that's the same thing, but whatever, synonyms. Big brain. All right. Hamstrings and lower and mid back. Spinal erectors and hamstrings. Muscles that are weak in my deadlift, we know this, absolutely confirmed, no debate at all on that. Now, 20 kilos isn't enough at this point with my form, currently with the reps I'm doing, to give me a effect. But I need to get used to this form, and over about a 2-week period, I'm going to do 2.5 kilo jumps each session. I already know that I can probably do 3 sets of 10 with 40 kilos right now, although it would be pretty difficult. And with that in mind, I figured out mathematically what I need to do at the end of the training cycle. I don't need to tell you guys because there is a risk that I'm incorrect with that number. because good mornings, they're kind of a different beast compared to a lot of other exercises. But ratio-wise, strength-wise, I think I got it figured out. I think I got the goals figured out. But the point here is that I'm working my hamstrings and my spinal erectors, stretching the hamstrings and getting a stretch reflex in the hamstrings, which is when you lengthen a muscle and then you get a reflex that it contracts harder on the way up because it just got stretched a lot. So we're getting the stretch reflex in the hamstrings, which is very good to build muscle and strength. Same thing in the hamstrings. And I'm also getting that effect where I have to keep my lower back and back in general tight. So I'm building my whole spinal erectors pretty much all the way up to my traps, like that whole section of spinal erector all the way down to my sacrum. Obviously, I'm not building the neck muscles, but other than that, building some serious muscle in those areas. Now, I'm not happy with the form today, though, it's not terrible, but it's not perfect. I need to find that range to where I can go far down. I probably need to shoot my hips back a bit more because the bottom like 5 or 10 centimeters right now, I could probably do this 5 or 10 centimeters higher up and try to stay tight, because right now I'm rounding my back a little bit at the very bottom, which basically that could be a mobility issue, but I don't think it's that. I do believe that it's the fact that I'm going a bit too deep and I'm not pushing my hips back, but I will work on it, guys. And yes, good mornings. A lot of people think they're dangerous. I completely disagree. That's basically like saying the deadlift is dangerous. It's not. Good mornings are only dangerous if you do them too heavy or with bad form, or if you have overuse injuries. So that was today's training. It was absolutely phenomenal. After the workout, I actually jumped rope for 11 minutes and 10 seconds. So that's also fantastic. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm so happy about this workout. Goodbye.